Hello, good evening. Good evening. We are going to have a Omega Black Writers live with one of our exciting writers. We're going to give you a few minutes to come in, and we'll talk to our writer and get him in. Is this him? Let's see. So, good afternoon. Good evening. We're going to be having one of our exciting Omega Black writers in the house. We'll be talking to William D. Frazier, and let's see if I can locate him. All right, looking for our writer who will be joining us. Okay, bear with us. William D. Frazier, who is one of the exciting writers who will be participating in the Omega Black Writers webinar scheduled for April 14th. Him and some of his fellow writers will tell you about the process and how they got their books published. And welcome. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, brother, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can't hear you. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
All right, we got people coming in. We're going to give them a few minutes, but what we're going to do is we're going to have you talk about your book, the process, but we want to talk to you a little bit about your international experience and what you're doing living abroad and your business there in China and how other
Okay.
people can get involved and uh, get into the business opportunities overseas. Um, let's check. I couldn't hear you before. Let's see. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
How
but
about
you're
now?
not coming in very well.
I'm not coming in good.
Okay.
Let me do something else. How about now?
No, no, don't hear you at all. I can see your mouth moving.
How about now?
I hear you very faintly. I'm not sure
Well,
what's going on with your connection.
we
Well, my
are
connection is fine, but I'm not sure what's going on with your volume.
what volume? Oh my.
Yeah,
Oh,
very faint, very faint. Can't hear you. Not sure what's going on with you. I've actually seen. Okay, you can hear me loud and clear, but can you hear William Frazier? Uh, maybe it's just me. Okay, so let's proceed as if it's just me. And what I'm going to do is, uh, okay, he's left. He's going to try and come back in. Okay, so what we have here is Instagram Live with Omega Black Writers series. It's a program where we promote some of the best Black writers across the country, and they come on and talk about their process, their books, and how you can also be published if you are interested. And we want you all to support them by purchasing their books. And let's see if we can find our writer. Okay, I just sent William D. Frazier is our writer today. That okay,
how
he's
about
back.
now? Is this
Okay,
good?
can the audience let me know if you can hear William Frazier, who's our writer today, our writer of the week? And just give me a thumbs up or just type in you can hear. Uh, William, go ahead and say a few things so we can see if people can hear you. It might just be something on my end.
Okay, all right. Appreciate you bringing me on, Brother Holliday. Yes, like Brother Holliday say, I'm William D. Frazier. I'm here in Shanghai, China, which I actually been in this country going on 2 decades now, mostly in this city. I came here as a part of a study
Okay.
abroad program. So I think everything's okay. So you want to start from scratch, I guess.
I figured out what the problem is.
What's that? Come on now. All right. I'm still here.
I can hear you now. Okay, audience, we have with us, and as you heard, William D. Frazier, who is a published author living in China. And he's also a businessman who has a business that he operates in China. So we wanted to give him an opportunity to come on and talk about his book, his process of writing his book, and talk about his business opportunities or any opportunities overseas. So I'm going to apologize because I had my phone connected to my Bluetooth, which I don't have on. So you're talking to the Bluetooth. So let's start again. So William D. Frazier, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your book, your publication.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Holiday. Like you, Brother Holiday said, I'm William D. Frazier. I'm originally from Brunswick, Georgia, and I've been in China since pretty much 22 decades now. I first came here on a study abroad program in 2000 with Savannah State University. So shout out to the HBCUs. They got alumni over here doing some things.
Okay.
But when I came over here on a study abroad program, it was like doing some research on the development of China and the role that migrant workers play in that development. It's kind of the similarities of the Great Migration that we went through in the early 20th century in the United States, when people left the South, went up north. But what happened here was people left the countryside and came to build up the city. And that was the beginning of me wanting to know more about what was going on in this country. So I came back in 2002 and to work on my PhD at a Chinese university in urban planning, which is Tongji University. And that when I realized they was doing all that, I realized Black America needs to be more exposed to what's going on in China. So I just, just working, doing my academics, and throughout the years, I started doing other things. And one of the things that I started doing was being a manufacturing processor for other individuals as well as a product sourcer, and doing it to this very day. But we would never have that Black organization here doing things like a commerce. So I wrote the book on my experiences up until that point and what we need to do as far as in my opinion, of course, my opinion is to improve our economic situation in the U.S.
Okay, great. So give us a few of the things that you cover in the book. So is your book, who would be your audience for your book? Who are the people that should pick up and read and have your book in their library?
Students,
Students, okay.
policymakers, business people, and tourists.
Okay.
For individuals, yeah. So that's pretty much everyone, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like me too. Okay. So in your experience, and what have you learned, and can you share with the audience in terms of the opportunities? And I think that's one of the things that people would be wanting to hear about. What are the opportunities for someone in the state to actually do business in China? What are those things that you can highlight based on your experience?
Okay, when you do a business, you got to look at it in two aspects with most things. One is you have to decide if you want to be physically located in China to do that business, or if you want to have someone in China representing your interest in doing the business for you. So in that context, most people do not want to stay in China for a long extended period of time to do business. So they would just, hire someone to handle a project for them. And there are a lot of business opportunities over here. I mean, you can look around in your everyday life and look at the things that are being made in China in the US. And you got to realize somebody has a business that produced that product that is being sold in the US all around the world. And those are the opportunities that are available when you see things that people are creating, or see things that sometimes these manufacturers will have products that has no name on it, and most people would buy it and put their name on it. It becomes their product. So it's a lot. I mean, even on the academic part, before COVID happened, you had a chance to create study abroad programs. We need to have more of our kids coming doing study abroad program in countries like China, so they can see what's going on. Even when you come down to doing trade shows, all the mass trade shows that are going on here. I mean, I identified at least 16 different types of trade shows that happen here on a simultaneous basis, that when I attend, I don't see us. And it's just amazing that the opportunities are here that we're not being exposed to. So, yeah.
Well, tell us about some of the barriers that you've seen and obviously that you've overcome, because I think people that are just basically tuning in are like, oh, what's the benefits of going to China? And I have no idea where to get started. So what would you suggest, how someone would get started? What are the kinds of barriers that you've seen, that you experienced and obviously overcame? And overall, what do you think are the benefits? Uh, obviously everybody wants to make money, but is that a real opportunity doing business in China?
Okay. That's a good question, brother. The barrier, one of the most prominent barriers, is you identify what that barrier is, and that is people don't know. Our people don't know about the opportunities in China. That information is not being disseminated through our various business organizations to let us know about those opportunities. Now, that's a problem within itself when you have prominent Black organizations not even bringing China up into our face and, hey, these are opportunities in China. And that stems back to the part that we don't have an established sustainable organizations in a country like China to filter that information to those organizations so they can filter it down to us. So first, that would be the first barrier we have to overcome, is having something established here that will allow us to receive that information in a most reasonable manner, and the type of information that we receive, the information that will help us economically to grow within the United States. So that would be the optimal barrier, I would say, that somewhat we self-impose on ourselves. Because it's an open and free market economy, right? The world's a free economy, and
Okay.
we're not exposing ourselves to those opportunities. So we have to take blame on that as well. Besides the systems that are not giving us the information, so it's us that's the problem. It's us that's the barrier in a sense.
Okay. So with that in mind, if somebody wanted to get started, what are some of the steps that they could get started to walk that path to get into this market?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that with one of the questions that the viewers asking. They're asking, is Alibaba the best way to small enterprise to find suppliers? Alibaba is a good source for finding suppliers. That is true. But you have to understand, if you put in a word like saying you want to get tennis shoes or jerseys or computer routers or STEM toys, you have so many manufacturers and suppliers that are on Alibaba that you would get a whole list of these individuals that saying they could provide that to you. What you got to figure out is how to filter through all those emails and messages that you got and determine which one is more suitable for what your needs are. And then on top of that, once you figure out if that manufacturer supplies the one that you need, do they actually exist? You know, because you are dealing with the internet, you know, do they actually exist? Before you start, you know, sending your information or sending your money, how do you verify that this company actually exists? And the most prominent way to verify is that you have to do a physical inspection. You know, you have to have someone to go to physically to the these locations, verify they do exist, verify that they have the right certifications, they have exceeded the required regulations and things to produce the products that you're looking for. And also, it's important to make sure that you have your specifications and requirements that are needed to have what you want. Those are the basic steps right there, brother. Understanding who you're dealing with, and if you don't know who you're dealing with, find someone to help you to deal with them.
Well, let me ask you a question that from my personal perspective, because can you explain what exactly is Alibaba? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that. So I'm sure there's some other people who aren't familiar with who that is, so enlighten us.
Okay, for you and I compare Alibaba to the Yellow Pages.
Oh, okay. That's
it's the Yellow Pages. It's the Internet Global Trade Yellow Pages.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Is it regulated, and is it just a listing service, or does it screen the people that advertise and promote themselves in Alibaba? Or is it just you, like you were saying, you don't know anything about the people that are promoting themselves in this medium, so you don't know whether they're legitimate or not. So Alibaba doesn't screen them in any kind of way. They just kind of say, here's my list.
No, they do. They regulate the suppliers and manufacturers on there very well. I mean, it's not a crappy source for finding business opportunity in China. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, you know, and there are ways to verify. I mean, they do their certification to verify manufacturers do exist and the suppliers do exist. But occasionally you do have individuals that could create the Alibaba account.
Okay.
And that, you know, and that's what I'm saying. They are very sophisticated on where they could create a website on Alibaba and you can sell, you know, products on there. You can. But it's just the point of the matter is, how do you physically verify that that manufacturer can do exactly what you're doing, despite that they have everything that you actually need to verify there is a legitimate organization. There's some cracks in the process, but still, that process is pretty sustainable.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about your book. You mentioned some of the things that you observed, and is that, if you had to give us 3 points on this is why I wrote the book, what would those be?
The first point was I couldn't find anything that was written by us about China in the realm that I was dealing with. I couldn't find any books by Black Americans who said this is what a study abroad program like is in China. This is what starting a business is like in China. This is what visiting a manufacturer, suppliers in China. This is what it is to live in China. I could not find any documents or book that talked to me about what China is. So I wrote a book that I wanted to read. I sat down and said, what kind of book would I want to read? And that's what the book is. I wrote it on something I wanted to read that would benefit us from so many different levels, because I start off the book, the first chapter I start off with, I talk about my mother. Because I sat back and I said, well, who's the first entrepreneur in my family that I actually know? And it was my mother, because, you know, she made freeze cups. You know, we live in government housing. You know freeze cups, right? We made freeze cups. And I use that story as the basis of manufacturing, supply chain, customer service, because you know, you look at the cups, the sugar, the Kool-Aid, the freezer, the different colors of the cups. So I use all of that to that was the basis of the whole book. I used that from that angle, and everything just went from there.
Okay, so tell us about particular types of, you obviously work across different areas of manufacturing and other related businesses. Tell us about some of the businesses that you support in your operation, and
Okay.
tell us more about your business there.
Well, one of the first businesses I started out doing when I came here, I wanted to keep it very, very simple, something that I really understood. And one of the first business I started was making paraphernalia.
Okay.
Now, it was very simple. I knew the colors, I knew how everything's supposed to look, the Greek letters and all that, and that was very simple. I used to make a lot of paraphernalia for some of the vendors you see at these Greek district meetings, state meetings, all
Okay.
those. I mean, I did a lot of stuff for a lot of vendors. And so that was the beginning of what I was doing. And then we started focusing on housing and hotel industry, started making furniture for the hotels, making light fixtures, making the frameless shower doors. Because when I came into this industry, the glass shower doors was just starting with those silver frames on the shower doors.
Uh-huh.
All of that was just starting when I came here. So we got into the frameless shower doors and all the hinges and all that, the fixtures and being chrome or silver or stainless steel. Got into that industry, moving to making furniture for houses, household industry. So that took me in another direction. So as I grew into this industry, we had a lot of more individuals. Again, going back to my opening comment, either you want to come to China and establish yourself here, or you want to find an organization to represent your interests. For the most part, people come to us to represent their interests because they don't want to come and permanently settle in China, because you have to be here for a long time to make something happen. And they would just bring a lot of different projects to us and work on it. And at the same time, Brother Holliday, I was learning about a lot of different areas about global trade. I when I came over, I didn't know anything about global trade when I came over here. And by doing all of this from China, that exposed me not just to what's going on in the United States, that exposed me to what's going on in other countries, what type of products that's being exported to other countries. So it just took me to a new area that exposed me to a lot of opportunities over here.
Okay, so that's really specific. Now you mentioned you got into, so let me just kind of summarize what I think, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. So
Okay.
what you do primarily is you identify a need, then you negotiate with entities, maybe like say Hilton or any type of hotel chain, for example, what you mentioned with the shower doors, and you basically say, I have the ability to provide a low cost source of supply for this product that you use in your hotels. So that was like maybe what you're speaking on. So you basically work with the manufacturers there, who basically have a much lower cost basis than we have in the United States, and you provide services to them by bringing them demand from the U.S. and other places. I'm not sure if you're limited to the United States. It could be Canada, Mexico, or any other country. Is that kind of a summary of what your services are?
It's kind of, but except that, I'm right. I'm not limited to just the U.S.
Okay.
We don't go out and solicit, say we looking for manufacturers to provide a service to them.
Okay.
We provide a service to the customer that needs us to handle their project. Sometimes they have projects here that we have to handle for them. Sometimes I send a team out doing inspections or something like that, or we do the exporting of the goods once it's already delivered. finished at the manufacturer, we send it to the custom warehouse, clear customs here, get it exported. And when on the export part, I teach individuals how to import products into the U.S. as well as
Okay.
export. You know, because it's really not that complicated. That's a whole nother different, part of the book. But I talk to us about the import-export industry because it's a fearful word for most of us. We hear it and we get afraid of it, and we don't know how to do it. So I walk people through that process. But what happens is that individuals would contact me and say, "Hey, wait, William, I got this idea, I got this product, I want to manufacture." Then I'll ask them a couple of questions. Do they have the specification? Do they have the type of material that they need? It all depends on where they are in that project. And once we figure out where they are, we take what they have and we produce it for them under their name. And that's one thing I tell people when I especially when it comes to textile. I always look at when somebody goes, I go to these trade, when I go back to the States and I go to the district meetings or the state meetings and people selling paraphernalia, I immediately go to the tag.
Okay.
I go to the tag because I want to see if their name is on that tag.
Okay.
Instead of having Gideon or somebody else's name on the tag. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
You can look at it. I look at their tag. If I look at the tag and say they got their name on it, I say, okay, you're doing the right thing. If they don't have the tag on it, I say, you're not really manufacturing. You just, you're not really supplying because your name is not on this tag. That tag is your name. But now the tag is getting your name. See, these are the little things that I educate us on as I proceed in this industry. And sometimes I just voluntarily give the information to people just to make sure they understand what's actually going on. So not only do I provide a product, I provide a service.
Okay. So if someone is looking to maybe start a business, and like a lot of people that I know that are older and basically have accumulated quite a bit in terms of assets and might want to endeavor in certain types of businesses where products are manufactured, so they could reach out to you with their idea and you could basically assist them in setting up an arrangement to have that product, good or service, produced in China. Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. And I can tell you an idea right now, for the holiday. I would say STEM toys.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, STEM is big. It's the way the world is working. In terms of technology. Um, Another area that is pretty much exploding is clean energy. Solar, like solar panels, uh, electric parts for electric vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are required. And okay, we have another question here. Why would a small medium enterprise get their supply from China instead of a local vendor? Is it all cost related and quality?
Well, if you're buying your supplies from another vendor, that vendor will probably have their name on it. So it's not really, it's not your product. You're promoting their product. You're not promoting your business. Also, you got to look at what is it that you're trying to get, in a sense. Some things require a certain amount of quantity, MOQ, the minimum order quantity, based on the product that you're trying to retrieve. So it's very important when you're saying get it from another vendor, basically you're getting it from a distributor and you're taking it and reselling it. And when you resell it, you got to put your price, your profit on top of that. So the vendor could basically sell it at lower cost because when you're buying it, you got to make a profit and you add a certain percentage on top of it. So that basically eliminates you as a possible reseller or a possible way of growing your business when you go that direction. So it's easier to go that route. And in my case, it's packaging. It all depends on what type of product you're packaging. What is the product that you're trying to use? Is it made of plastic? Is it made of paper? What is it how you pack? Is there a mold that has to be made for it? What type of designs that you have on the packaging? It's all types of packaging. It's all types of packaging. It's all depends what the product is and how you want to display it.
Let me ask you, in your opinion, from your experience, what would you say in general would be um, let's say that you have a product, let's say a tennis shoe. Everybody's familiar with tennis shoes, uh, and that you're going to sell it for $100, and the cost of production of it is $20, and then with overhead, you're at like a 30-40 buck production cost for the shoe. I'm just throwing out numbers, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not unusual to get 80 to $100 for a tennis shoe, and
Okay.
that's not even a Jordan. That's not even J's, which are 2 or 3 times that cost.
Yeah.
What you kind of say is a minimum kind of quantity you have to be able to order to really do business there in
Well,
terms
you
of.
got as far as that, you have to look at how many sizes you need and how many the quantity amount you need per size.
Okay.
You need 13, 12, 11, 9. So you got to actually have done your market research to determine what's your market. And I don't know if it froze up or not. Then
No,
you,
I got a call. So, but okay. So yeah, that is a point. But in general, are you talking about you probably need to be able to order 1,000 pieces, 5,000 pieces, 10,000 pieces? It in terms of someone starting out as a small business, and I'm not saying they make that as their first order, but is there usually a minimum quantity that is going to be required? Because usually with a small business, it's all about capital,
yeah,
and how much capital that you know you have to invest, or with partnerships. I know a group of guys, and they're looking to buy like a $10 million operation, and they're pulling together personally between the group about $2 million to $3 million, and looking for financing for the balance. So I guess my question is, how much uh, capital should you have access to reasonably start doing business with? How small can you start?
you could. Depends on how small the item is. I'm just. I understand your question, and
Okay.
it's a very it's not an exact answer. Doesn't fit everything. Okay, an exact answer doesn't fit everything because you could have a pen, a
Okay.
very decorative pen that's
Right.
very small, but the resale value of it could be at least $500, right? $400,
Right.
$300, and you could have a box of 1,000 of those, and you only pay maybe say $50 per piece, and you sell it for $1,000 because of the marketing that you use. Very small box, right? You can make a large volume of that. But then you take a larger item, say the tennis shoes, and you have to order, say, 1,000 pieces per size, right?
Okay.
And then you have to take that quantity and you have to ship that in a 40-foot container. So
Right.
that takes longer to come across the ocean, clear customs, which has a higher duty tax on it because tennis shoes have a high duty tax even before the tariffs came in. And that takes longer for you to get the goods. So it takes longer for you to get the goods and sell it. Whereas that small box of 1,000 pens, you could air freight that to you and you can have it in 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
So it all depends on what the item is and how long it takes to produce it and how long it takes to deliver it to you. So that range it could be as low as $5,000 or as high as 150. It all depends on what that actual item is.
So you okay, but you basically really answered my question. So you're saying that for as little as $5,000 with the right product, and obviously you have to have the market to sell that product, but with $5,000 you could actually start the process of doing business in China.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, that's reasonable. That's within reach for probably 80% of people. I would think that they would be able to do that, and but the other part of them having that plan in place to market that good. So, what are some of the other things you mentioned that you started? So, how long did it take you from the point you decided to write your book and to complete a manuscript?
Um, I've been. That's a good. I've been thinking about how to answer that question exactly. Um,
Okay.
because if you go back to my childhood, I grab memories from my childhood, right? So that's 50 some odd years ago.
Okay.
When you go to the study abroad program, that was in 1999 when it started. So
Okay.
because I was part of the group that actually put the study abroad program together. So I kept that information during that whole process, how to do a study abroad program, what's required, and all that. So I had that information. I just kept it. And when I came over here, I went to school. So I just kept accumulating information. When I did business, I kept that information.
Okay.
So when COVID happened, um, I sat down. I looked at my wife. I said, I've been thinking about writing a book. So now I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it because we on lockdown. That's when it first started. We can't go anywhere. I got all this information everywhere. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm going to compile this information and write my book. And so when I started that process, it took me about 3 or 4 months.
Okay. Okay. So, so you can say that you did research for a decade and a half, but it only took you 3 or 4 months to actually put it together. That's actually pretty good. Uh, that's probably on the, we've done the Omega Black Writers webinars we've had 9 other writers, and that puts you at the top of the class in terms of the amount of time. I think one writer said about 3 months, but most of them have been a year, 6 months to 2 years. And we've had a couple that said, well, it took me 5 or 6 years or longer because I kept putting it aside. In terms of, okay, we have another question. After publishing the book, is there anything that you would have added or taken out of your book?
Oh, I could have added so many case studies on these questions, Brother Holliday asking me. I could have added so many case studies in the book that I could still be writing to this very day, to be honest, because there's
Right.
just so many stories behind my experiences. I said, no, I'm just going to get this out, get this introduction out, and then I'm going to come back and start analyzing different case studies and start creating another book to talk about different industries I've been involved in and the problems that I encountered with them and how I overcame those things. So
Okay.
yeah, I did take out a lot of stuff. That's true.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a common story amongst the writers in that once you start the process, you really need to stay focused or you could continue writing forever, So, but what one person said, one of the writers said, the perfect example is you don't have to put it all in the first one. You can put it in the next one. So, that was, I thought, very a good way to look at that. Now, once you took the 3 to 4 months and you got your manuscript, tell us about your process of getting your book actually published and out printed and out to the public. What was that process? What did you do?
Okay. One thing, foreigners cannot publish books in China.
Okay.
Even though they do have some books that are published in China, they'll publish popular people books. Michelle, Obama, and Barack, and other people. The Chinese government will publish those, but as a foreigner, it takes a long time to get approval to publish a book in China. So I knew that was out. But what I was able to do was go to a printing company to lay out the format, because I researched how to publish your own book. I did a lot of research, a lot of reading, did the picture, everything, the format, everything. And I went to them and I gave them the layout just to format my book. And what I found, this company is called Bauer, Bower, something like that. And I actually, before them, I have a friend over here that he does editing documents for a lot of domestic companies, English speaking companies. And I gave to him my book. I said, please read this and just slice it up. He said, well, I'm gonna slice it up. I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with it, right? And I said, that's what I want you to do. Go. I said, don't worry about hurting my feelings. I've been here long enough. I had my feelings hurt a lot over here, so you can't hurt it no worse than it's already been. And so I'm strong in that capacity. Go for it. And so he was my editor. He told me what was wrong. I did it, rewritten it, wrote it all over again, tweaked some things, added a couple of things here and there. And then I went to a local little printing company to have it formatted the way that I wanted to have done. And then I submitted it to this company back in the States, and they did whatever they had to do to get it formatted and make it ready for print, ready for print actually, because they had allowed me to go in different avenues of where I wanted the book to be printed. I got my ISBN number.
Right.
I got a lot of those. Got those. Got my barcodes. Got all that set up and submitted it. I registered with the I can't think of the government agency, government office where you register your printed works.
Okay.
I registered. I did all that, and next thing you know, it was published, and that's why you asked me. I said, well, I can't sign it, because I'm over here. Right. I couldn't sign it, but I could. I was saying I could print the book over here, but I can't have the ISBN or the barcode on it.
No, that's fine. We talked about that. So let's tell people the name of your book and where it can be purchased.
The name of my book is Black American Entrepreneur in China, Connecting Industry and Cultural Differences. And you see my logo back there. That's the name of my book. That's the name of my series, Black American Entrepreneur in China. It's available on 8 books, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Booktopia, Goodreads, Politics and Prose bookstores, Porchlight, Scribble, Waterstones, and World of Books. I get it. That's a lot of places. And these are like in different countries.
Rather have too many than not enough. And Michael Williams says Library of Congress is where you had your register. Yeah. So right. Now let's talk about Omega Black Writers. You will be participating on April 14th in the webinar with 3 other writers. I kind of know how you kind of came across our radar. You attended one of the webinars earlier, but tell people why they should tune in to the Omega Black Writers webinar on April 14th.
You should tune in, not just because it's being done by the bros, which is one of the main reasons the bros been doing it, so that's the top reason, okay? And the second top reason is Black men are doing it, because we need to actually get our word out there and let people know this is who we are, these are the things that we experience, and the things that we want to tell our story, because we know we as writers, and someone told me this, to be a writer, you must understand that the words are going to live longer than you. And when I was told that, I was like, fair enough. And as Black men, we have stories that we have to tell, and we want others to understand these stories that we're giving out to the world. And what Brother Holliday and them are doing is a wonderful thing, and I support them wholeheartedly. And I think any young brother out there, older, whatever, if you're thinking about writing a book, follow us on our Mega Black Writer series, and brother will give you some great insight on their process of going about being writers, and you'll be motivated. And I'm telling you, once you get that first one done, you can't wait to get started on that second one. It's a good feeling.
That's outstanding. And just to reiterate, we have our next Omega Black Writers webinar. You can register by going to Omega Black Writers series on Instagram or Facebook, and there's a link on both sites to register. You do not have to register, but the benefit to registering is you will be entered into a drawing to win a free copy of our writers' books. So they have all donated copies of their books to be awarded. So that is another reason you should tune in and register. Again, that is April 14th, next week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we are all in different time zones, and some of us, like William D. Frazier, is in a different country. So uh, tell the people what time it is in China right now.
Right now it's 8:45 a.m. Thursday morning.
So he's about to have breakfast, and he was kind enough to take time out today to talk about our project and introduce you to his book and his experiences as a businessman in China. Now, if you want to reach any of our writers, you can do that through our social media. Just message us if you want to reach any of the writers that have participated. We will make sure that they get those messages promptly. But we're really looking forward to everyone joining us for the next webinar that we've had. We've had some, well, all the writers, in my opinion, have been exceptional. I've been very impressed with all of them and the work that they have put forth to bring us their publications. And we would ask that you support each of them by purchasing their books. They're listed on the website, and most of them can be bought on Amazon. If not, it's listed elsewhere where they book their book to be purchased. But they're also available for speaking engagements. A lot of these, no, not a lot. Every one of these writers is exceptional in their accomplishments, and they would be great program speakers. And it does not matter where you are, because our writers are everywhere from California to Connecticut to Texas to Arkansas to every place in between, and now internationally with William D. Frazier in Shanghai, China. So even if you're overseas, we can accommodate you. So we want to thank you for joining us, and thank you, brother William D. Frazier, for taking time out of your morning, our evening, to join us. And we will be looking forward to you and the other writers on Omega Black Writers, April 14th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do you have any closing remarks you'd like to leave us with, Brother Frazier?
Yeah, I'd like to say this here. Despite what's going on in the world with the government to government, I think going forward, Black Americans, Black America needs to learn more about what's going on in China that can help us economically, culturally within the United States. We should not no longer sit back and let other individuals pretty much dictate how we as Black Americans should interact with the outside world. It's very important now going forward that we take an assertive effort to become more engaged with countries like China. It's very important going forward.
Yeah, and China and the U.S. Economies are kind of interlocked.
Yeah.
A lot of the aggression and challenge that the countries have had in the past has gone to the wayside based on the economic codependence that we have on each other. So that means they are very open to the opportunities, and they're one of the largest economies in the world. So they want to continue to do business and be successful. So there are opportunities there. So with that, we're going to say thanks. This Instagram Live will be posted on the Omega Black Writers Instagram Live social media page. So if anyone wants to miss any part of it, you can view it there. And Brother Frazier, enjoy the rest of your morning, and we will be in touch, as you know, moving forward. And we'll see you again on April 14th. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll be coming back with another writer next week. So look for the announcement for next week's Instagram Live with another one of our exceptional writers. All right, folks, take care, and we'll talk with you later.
All right, team. You be good out there, dog. Peace.
Unfortunately, I got no choice. All right. Take
They
care.
got us on lockdown. They got us on
Yeah.
lockdown right now, dog. They got us on
Right.
lockdown.